Hey friends, it's Kara with iStampin.com. Thanks for joining me today. Today I am going to show you how to make this really elegant Christmas card using the Dashing Deer bundle. So this is the stamp set, and then this is the Detailed Deer Thinlit dies. So you can get this as a bundle and save 10%. And you can find that here in our holiday catalog on page 9. So you can see some really pretty samples, but I just thought this was, and here it tells you that you can save 10%, but I just thought this was so pretty. I wanted to feature one of the new embossing folders that you can also find in the holiday catalog, and I just think the Whisper White and the gold is such a classic Christmas card, and just very elegant. And so it's a really simple card. It's not too difficult, so why don't we get started? I'm going to show you all the supplies that you'll need to start, and then we can go ahead and make the card. So to start off, I am using one of our note cards and envelopes. This, when you fold it, is a 3.5 by 5 card, excuse me. It does come with 20 matching envelopes, so you get 20 note cards and 20 envelopes. You're also going to need some Whisper White cardstock. This is the panel that we are going to be embossing. So this just measures 3 by 4 1/4, and then you're just also going to need a strip. This is where we're going to be stamping our sentiment, and you can see here that I cut that down. We're also going to need some gold foil paper, along with our gold glimmer paper, and you're not going to need a whole bunch. We're going to be die cutting some flowers, so it's just a little bit that you'll need for that. And then for ink, I'm going to be using Versamark because we are going to be embossing. So you'll need to get out your gold embossing powder along with your heat tool. I'm also going to be using my Embossing Buddy, and then to notch the banner, and I've used this before recently. Here you can see I just notched it. I'm going to be using the Taylor Tag Punch. And then just for your adhesive, I used a combination of fine tip glue pen, some tear and tape adhesive, and then a couple of sizes of the dimensionals. So that's really it. If I forgot anything, I will mention it as I come to it. So why don't we get started? I've already done quite a bit of the die cutting just to make this run a little bit smoother, but let me show you what thinlits you're going to need to create the card. You're going to get out this beautiful deer with the beautiful swirl horns, and I have die cut that already using the gold foil paper, and so this is what it looks like after you've die cut this out. And then you're also going to want to get out, actually you're going to need 2 of these. I apologize, I forgot to mention that. Because you're going to be die cutting the small little flowers, and you're going to be using the solid flowers. So you're actually going to be die cutting both of these out. But the solid ones are going to go on your Whisper White cardstock, and then the detailed one is going to be on the gold glimmer paper. The great thing about this thinlet set is that it gives us multiple of these thinlits. So for this card, I'm needing 3 flowers, so we can die cut 3 at a time, which is super nice. So you'll do all of this on the Big Shot. So once it's done, it's going to look like this, and I've already put 2 of the flowers together. And so I'll show you how to put these 2 together here in a minute. Okay, so I'll put that off to the side. And then let's go ahead and we're going to emboss this panel, and I'm using the brand new Swirls and Curls Texture Impressions embossing folder. And this is in the holiday catalog, and let me show you where this is located. This may be easy to overlook, but you can find it here on page 5 right here in the corner. It's a beautiful embossing folder. So all you're going to do is just take this over to your Big Shot, make sure that you line it up straight, and then once you run it through, it's going to look like that. So it really gives your cardstock some beautiful texture. I'm using the emboss side. If you prefer the deboss side, you could use that as well. So we can go ahead and start putting this part of the card together. So let me fold this in half. And I'm going to use my bone folder to give that a good burnish on the score line. Now, because this is so textured, you can use snail adhesive, but when I have a really textured cardstock like that, I like to use my tear and tape, so that's what I recommend. Like I said, you can use your snail if you want to. You can even use wet adhesive, but I find the tear and tape to be very easy to use, and it holds it very well. So I'm just burnishing one end of the tape with my bone folder, and then I'll just remove it, remove the backing strip. Like so. And as a reminder, I do have a September host code. So when you shop in my online store, and you can do that 24/7, you can find that link in the video notes of today's video, or you can go over to my blog, istampin.com, and click the shop now. When you do use that host code, you will receive a gift from me the following month. If your order is $150 or more before tax and shipping, just remember not to use that host code, and you will still receive the gift from me in October. All right, so this is, so we've die cut this out in the gold foil, and we're gonna go ahead and pop this up. I'm gonna use a combination of our mini dimensionals and regular dimensionals. So here on the deer head, it's a little bit thinner, so this is the perfect size for the mini dimensionals. And then I'm going to use the bigger ones for the main part of the body. Now, I am not putting any adhesive on the antlers or the legs or the tail. It's just really, really thin, and I think I feel like it's supported well enough with the amount of dimension that I've put on there, with the amount of dimensionals, I should say. And then I have this to the right side of the panel, so it's just going to go like that. Isn't that beautiful? I just love that deer. I just think it's just so elegant and gorgeous. And then I'm going to go ahead and glue this last flower so it has a couple of minutes to set up. And what I recommend using is our fine tip glue pen. I did use a glue dot in one of my samples. I found that the glue gives you a little bit more ability to match up the petals on the solid piece on the Whisper White one. So what I did is I just placed glue, and then this gives you time to rotate it. There we go. I'm just going to use an acrylic block and just put it right on top of there just so that it can set up even quicker. Okay, so let's put this off to the side and let's do our stamping. So I just have that strip of Whisper White cardstock. I'm going to use my Embossing Buddy to get all the static and oil off the cardstock that may have transferred on there from my fingers. I've got my Versamark ink, and I am using the Happiest Christmas Wishes from the Dashing Deer stamp set. So I'm just going to ink this up, and then I'm just going to sprinkle this with the gold embossing powder and then heat set it. Right. Let me bring my embossing powder over. And we're just going to sprinkle that on there. I'm just going to use a dry paintbrush and just brush away where some extra powder is. And then let's go ahead and use our heat tool and heat set this. I like to set it on setting 2 for cardstock. All right, and there we have it. Isn't that just beautiful? It just looks like liquid metal. I just love it. Okay, so I've just trimmed this down just with a little tabletop trimmer. What I'm going to do next is come in with the Tailor Tag punch, and I am just going to place the right side of the banner in here in the center. And what I like to do is I like to push it, I like to put it all the way down where I can see my stamped letters, and then I raise it back up, and then I just am going to center that tag and then punch, and so that looks good. And so next what I want to do is I want to bring my card in because I want the banner to lay on part of the deer, but I want it to be flush with the embossed panel. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take a pencil, and I want it about right there, so I'm just going to just make a little mark right there, and that will tell me where to cut. And then just come back in here and cut that off, just like so. And then what I can do is come in, and here, this is where I'll use a glue dot. I'm just going to put one glue dot where I notched the end, where that's going to go on. It's going to actually lay on the deer. And then I can use some dimensionals, and that's going to be where it's going to be right there. Attach right there, I should say. Okay, and so that's what that looks like. So the next thing that we can do is go ahead and put our flowers on, and what I want to do with these flowers is to kind of make it look like it's like a garland around the deer. So I'm going to start off kind of a little bit lower, and I'm going to put these flowers on with a glue dot. So just put one glue dot right there in the center, and I'm just going to put it about right there. Okay, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to come on the right and left side of the center flower and just overlap it where it looks like it's like a garland hanging around the deer's neck. So it's like that. Super, super simple. And there's our card. So let me bring out the first card that I made so that you can see, because each one's going to be completely different. So here you can see that I did it a little bit differently. I put, and let's actually, that looks a lot better, so let me try this again. So I put the side ones on first. And put this one in the center. There we go. And you can fiddle around with this and get it to where you want it to look better. But there we go. So that gives you the idea as what it's supposed to look like. All right, well, I hope you liked today's project. If you did, please give it a thumbs up and make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel. Also, don't forget to subscribe to my Facebook page because 6 days out of the week, I have some fun things going on my iStampin Facebook page. And then you can always find out all the information on today's project, on today's blog post on iStampin.com. So again, that was using the Dashing Deer bundle that is in this year's holiday catalog, and I hope you enjoyed this project. Again, like I said, have a great start to your week, and be sure to join me this Wednesday for iStampin Live. Bye guys.